go to a man now who has sold, this guy sold 5 million records in 3 months' time.
I believe it is not understating it to say that this man spoke to a generation.
5 million in 3 months, and here he is now. Vanilla Ice.
Hey.
What's up?
No, ain't nothing to it.
How are you, sir?
Nothing to it. See? He still got it.
Nothing to it at all.
Nothing to it.
I'm doing good.
Hey, now nobody calls you Rob, is that right?
No, you can't call me Rob.
Okay.
I respond to a lot of different things.
All right, I like Vanilla better.
Before
Ice.
Rob, would you respond to Rob back in the day?
Sure.
Yeah?
No, really back then when you were sporting the tood and everything, if somebody called you Rob, you were cool with that?
Well, yeah, it was only like the people who knew me, you know. Nobody really called me Rob. A little boring compared to Ice or whatever.
Now, do you still have that pad? I just saw there's a website.
Pad. Listen to you try to talk, Jimmy.
There is
do you still have that pad?
You still have that. It's the ice box. That's what you call your house, right? The ice box. There's a website called Driveways of the Rich and Famous. Talk about people who have nothing to do with their time. A guy has a website called Driveways of the Rich and Famous, and yours is on there. And do you still have that same huge pad down there in Miami, or what?
Well, I moved. I got a new one. I moved out of South Beach and moved up to like North Beach, like on the ocean instead of the intercoastal. So.
Is it a smaller place?
No, not really.
More of a family scene there for the Iceman.
How many square feet in that house?
Like 5,000.
That's good.
Do you have a
size.
studio in there?
Yeah.
Good, and that's, you know what? That's where his DJ revolves it. Right there.
Vanilla Ice, your whole scene has revolved, it seems, because now, I mean, seeing Eclipse and just talking to you now, you're not talking, you're not fronting some stuff. I mean, you're talking like you and me. I mean, you're talking like a normal guy.
Right.
I mean, what?
That was then, this is now.
Is that just growing up, or is that part of like a whole kind of rebirth?
Yeah, I've been through a lot. I mean, I've changed dramatically. So, it's been a rough road for me for the past 10 years or so.
Now, that life back in the early 90s, I mean, listen, that life, that whole scene, that made a very nice life for you and a very comfortable life for you for many
I don't know
years.
about a nice life.
Well, it made things
it's been
very
hell, actually.
So you think the fame led to hell?
Oh, Jesus. More than you can imagine.
Well, the worst thing, that you became an addict for a brief time, correct?
That's true.
Mm-hmm. What were you hooked on?
Oh, you want to go into the details here?
Well, I mean,
Everybody wants
that's
to know the
part.
details.
That's part of the story.
People wonder what happened to you.
Well, honestly, I can say it with a smile on my face,
Yeah.
so it doesn't bother me. I mean, it started with ecstasy, and it went on to coke, and then it went on to heroin.
At that time, X was legal in Texas, and hanging around those circles, especially Texas, X was huge.
Yeah, not in '94. It was huge. I think they started making it in Houston, but I remember when it was
X.
legal.
Yeah, when it was legal in the late '80s. Yeah.
How long did that go on for, though? Was it a brief period, or
Till
for
the end of '94.
Really?
Yeah.
So for several years.
Yeah.
And was that throughout that whole? So it was pretty much in the pinnacle of Vanilla Icedom back in the early '90s. I mean, you weren't really there.
Yeah, I was in a fake world, actually.
Yeah.
I was escaping from reality, and it only made me happy for the moment that I was high. But when I came down, I have to face reality, and I was actually at a lower point than when I started. So,
what woke you up?
It made it very hard. Well, one night I overdosed, really bad, on purpose. Basically, wanted to eliminate my life, so to speak, permanently.
It was too much for you?
I overdosed and found myself and my friends dumping buckets of cold water on me on the floor. I can say it with a smile because I've been 4 years sober now, so it's okay.
So it scared you to death, basically. It just scared the hell out of you.
Yeah, exactly. I woke up the next day and I basically saw that I had a second chance, and I eliminated the whole crowd I was running with and started all over from that point, really.
Was this after the whole Suge Knight thing? Was this before or after?
Yeah, this is after that.
This was right after it? I mean, was this like a result of?
The Suge Knight thing happened probably like 91.
That Suge Knight story is an amazing story, and most people don't know it because people imagine that you just made millions and millions of dollars off Ice Ice Baby. But in interviews, you are saying that that's not true.
Saying that it's not true
It's
that I
not
made
true
millions?
that you got strong-armed out of that money.
Not all of the money, but some of it.
A lot of it.
Right. Yeah, well, I ended up with way more than I ever thought I would. I just kind of look at it like, first of all, there's a bunch of people around right now that are saying a lot of bad things about Suge, and, I ain't got nothing really bad to say about the guy. I mean, first of all, you can look at it like I'm just an investor in Death Row Records with no return on my money.
Well, that's a real nice way of putting it there, Ice.
There's a lot of people out there that are saying bad things about him and trying to put him away, and I'm really not in that clique, you know what I'm saying?
But I thought that you had said you were coerced, though, into signing over the rights, the publishing rights of the song. Did that happen?
Yeah, I signed over some rights. Yeah, definitely, it happened, and he got millions of dollars. But that was it. There was anything else to it. There was a lot of rumors going around that he hung me over a balcony, that he beat me up, and all this stuff that never ever happened.
Well, how did you end up with him in the first place? How did this whole thing shake down? You get a call saying Suge wants to talk?
No, he showed up at like different places. He would show me when I was in LA, he would like show up at like the Palm restaurant, Benihana's restaurant, one time in the airport, one time backstage at the Arsenio Hall show. He knew where I was at all times. But when he showed up, he would just be like, hello. He would show up with like 6 other guys, looked like a football team, and he would say like, hello, I'm Suge, how's it going? Just introduce himself, and then he would walk away, and we were left like dumbfounded going, what the hell was that all about, Well, and we got to the point. The point was he knew where we were at all times.
Well, then how did the whole money thing come together?
He showed up in my hotel room one night, actually when I was checking in. I hadn't even checked in yet. I put my key in the door, I opened it, and he's in the room already. I was like, oh. So I got the point. I knew at that point what was going on. He pulled out some papers and said just wanted me to sign these papers.
Why did he think he had the rights to publishing on that?
He didn't have the right.
I mean, just because? He just felt that you were the target and he was going to get you?
Well, I guess so. I really didn't know his reasoning. I just knew what he wanted, and I had actually talked to a few other people at that point and asked them about who Suge Knight was. So I had a little bit of fear in me at that point because I found out who he really was. But there was no physical. He didn't do anything to me, beat anybody up or anything. It was really, he did it pretty smooth, actually.
He didn't say, you go to the police and this is going to happen or anything like that. He just said, sign this, I'll see you later.
He didn't have to say that. It was kind of already known without him saying it,
Well, yeah, in the Rolling Stone interview, I mean, you said that one of his guys showed a gun to one of your guys.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, I mean, that is kind of, that's not business as usual. He never pulled it out, though,
or never beat anybody up. Like, I've read rumors that, he hung me over a balcony or something, which was ridiculous. And, yeah, he did. One of his guys showed, one of my bodyguards his gun and everything. Never took it out.
You say it so matter-of-factly, but, I mean, you signed over a couple $1 million. Did you think you were going to die?
I wasn't gonna, chance it to see what was gonna happen. I just went along with it and looked at it like, hey, it was a price I had to pay, and that's kind of the way they made me look at it. This is the music industry. This is a price you're gonna have to pay. I still ended up with way more than I ever thought I would, end up with. So
that's ridiculous, though. That's hard to believe that a guy can just go in there and muscle you into this, and then nothing happens.